Hello guys, KP Shabino here with a new video for Diablo 4, and in this video I'm going to show you guys the casual dead build that I made. So I'm a dad, I work in the weekends, I take care of my son the entire week, and he's not going to school, so it's really taking care of him. And I'm now playing for 1 week and I'm level 50, so I can call this a casual dead build. It's a Whirlwind barbarian build. With a little bit of my own touch to make it a little bit stronger, that you don't die that much. I just killed Lilith on tier 2, so I'm done with Lilith. And I'm going to show you guys how this build works. It's overall sometimes a little bit complicated build, but I try to explain it. So what is the plan? I'm going to start with the skills, then I'm going to talk about the gear. And then I'm going to show you gameplay. I will put it in timestamps under this video too. I will put under this video a couple of things too. First, a tree planner that you can just click on it and see everything. A little bit like in Path of Exile. I will put under this video how you need to farm this dungeon, because that's one of the best farms I think that you can do at every level. I'm going to put under this video a video from this build with just rare gear on level 40 with no rings on, and I did a dungeon too. And then to end, I will put a video how you need to farm opals and how you can make your own rotation, because I think that opals from the start are the best to get legendaries. So you can farm it really easy because everything scales with your level. You just need to do events. And then you can just gamble the entire time. So I'm going to start first with the skills. The skills. So how does this build work? It's very simple. So it's built around berserking. So I got 2 generators that can do berserking. That is Warcry and that is Leap Slam. Or Leap they call it here. So they are going to generate berserking. Why berserking? Berserking is a very strong spell for the barbarian. You get extra damage, you get more movement speed, and I try to keep it up as much as possible. You will see that in the skills. So how do the skills look? So I put every paragon point off, because if I show the gameplay, I want to show it as a level 50. So let's have a look to the skill tree. So how are we going to build it? So first of all, you take Lunging Strike, 1 point, and you take 1 point Enchanted Lunging Strike. That's more than enough. Then of course we got the Whirlwind. So take maximum points. If you can get like +2 Whirlwind on your gear, that's always good. That's more DPS. Then you take Enchanted Whirlwind to get 1 Furry. That's very important for furry generation. And then you get Violent Whirlwind. That's very important too. So at the start you can switch. You can do this too, that you just apply bleed on the enemies. So that's possible too. So you can switch around. Then don't forget to take this pressure point. So now I still need to take that a little bit later. If I can use the vulnerable cliff in my paragon, I probably don't need this anymore. So your core skill have up to 30% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. Very important, because you can stack up the vulnerable damage. That's one of the main DPS things that you got in this boss, in this build. So be sure that you stack it on the enemies. That's very important. So that were the core ones, and then we are coming to the defensive ones. And here you take your first 2 shouts. So you are going to take Rallying Cry shout. So what is this doing? So it's increasing your movement speed by 30% and the resources generation by 40% for 7.4 seconds. And nearby allies for 3.7 seconds. Very important, this one. So this one you are going to use if you go in a pack to start generating the Furry. So this is a starter from 0 Furry to get ready to Whirlwind, because Whirlwind is soaking a lot of Furry. I think it's, how much is it? 24 per second, they say it here, so it's a lot. So this is the first generator for Furry. And then you take this one, you get Unstoppable, and then you take this one or this one, it depends. So what is the beauty about this build and the Barbarian? That after every shout, the last 2 skills, you got a DPS one and you got a defensive one. So what did I do now just on Lilith? because I died a couple of times, I just switch everything around to the defensive ones. But if you are very good in a dungeon and you're not dying, go full DPS. So I'm now going to show you guys this one. So this one is the one that is going to generate furry, 20% furry, because I don't need the defense one. Then the next one is Challenging Shout, and that's one of the damage reduction shouts that you're going to use. So you can see right away it's going to taunt nearby enemies and gain 40% damage reduction for 7.4 seconds. That's a lot. So almost 40%. And then you take this one. While Challenging Shout is active, gain 20% bonus maximum life. And then you can choose once again. So this one is, if an enemy hits you, you get 3 furry. And this is a defensive one. So once again, if you need it on the boss, just switch around again. So that were the defensive skills. Now we are going to the brawling skills. And here is Warcry. And Warcry is going to increase your DPS. So what I do most of the time, I do this shout and then I start doing this. So that you are 100% sure, if you got Warcry on, that you can keep turning around the entire time. So you can see it here. Increasing your damage dealt by 16.5% for 7.4 seconds. And then this one is very important. This is the first shout or skill that is going to give you Berserking for 4 seconds. I told you guys Berserking is a little bit the blueprint of this build. And then you can choose once again. So now it's still on the defensive one. So Warcry grants you 15%. And I'm going to put this off because we are going to take that for the dungeon. I put this once again up for Lilith. So switch around if you feel squeezy on a boss or something. It always can happen. It happens for me too. Just switch around this. That's a little bit a trick. And then what do we got here too? So we got Leap here too. Why I'm using Leap? For 2 things. So Leap is you're just going to jump in a pack. And if you get more points in Leap, the cooldown is going down. So try to get this on your equipment too. So it's not going that much down. Therefore, I didn't put too many points in it because you come from 15, and if you need to spend 2 points to get to 13.9, for me that's a little bit a waste. That's not too much. If I can now bring it to 3 seconds, that's something else. But don't waste too many points on it. You cannot get it that far down. A little bit later, if I get the Sacred Gear, you get like 12% or something on cooldowns. That is less. That's of course a lot. Then we are probably going to get these in 6-7 second range. But now you don't need to do that. Then the next one is if Leap doesn't damage an enemy, its cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds. That's cool. And then I'm using this one. This is a second generator that is going to give a lot of furry. So if you hit somebody, you gain 40 furry. That's a lot. So that's a little bit the spells that I got, because now I already got all the spells. But now I'm going to talk about the passive ones, because there are a couple of passive ones that are going to buff the spells that I just showed you guys. So this wheel is very important. So you can see your shout skill effect duration are increased by 24%. That means they are just 1/5 stronger. Take it, no brainer. You got 3 shouts, so yeah, you need to take that. Then this one, your shout skills cause enemy to deal 12% less damage for 5 seconds. Very big too, 12% less. That's a lot. And then I took this one too, a little bit healing for myself, because this is, I think, not only healing your allies, but it's healing yourself too. You don't need to take that. It's a little bit something that I was testing. You cannot take it if you want and take something else, maybe the Leap a little bit more. You can choose that one. And then we are going to this cluster. And I call this the Berserking cluster. So the blueprint is Berserking, so we need to take this one too. So gain 9% damage reduction while Berserking. That's a lot once again, almost 10% less. And then this one is very important. So we got now 4 seconds on the Warcry. And when a brawling skill damage at least one enemy, gain Berserking for 3 seconds. This is a brawling skill Leap. So if you use this, and you use this at the same moment, you got 7 second Berserking on. Remember that. Because that's not possible until now. Because berserking without the talent that I'm going to take a little bit further is always 5 seconds. So if you don't have this talent, don't use this and this at the same time, because you're going to lose 2 seconds of berserking. Use this, wait until berserking is gone, you can see it visual, and then you use your leap. So this is the node for getting berserker on leap. And then you got this one, while berserking furry generation is increased by 18%. So you already see the red line coming through this build. It's all about the berserking and generating furry. So that was it for this wheel, a lot of stuff here. Then we go to this wheel, and this is very important. So your bleeding affects slow enemies by 10%. I will show you guys, if we go to the gear, how we do it. So just take that. It's very simple, it's a trick that you can do. Then you take this one, Pit Fighter 9 of 9. You deal 9% increased damage to close enemies and gain 6% distant damage reduction. Very big. And then this one, you can use this. You have 9% increased critical strike chance against slowed enemy. This is slowing. That's a lot. 9% increased critical strike chance is a lot. So you slow, and then you use this, and you get the crit. And then that's it, I think. And then you take those 3 nodes. While using two-handed weapons, you deal 15% increased critical damage. And then you take this node. Why this node? I told you guys it from the 5 seconds base on berserking. This is going to increase the maximum duration with 5. That means that you got now 10. It's really strange, because I didn't know that at the start. I know that already for some time, but if you use Sleep and Warcry at the same moment, the 7 seconds can count down if you got this. If you don't have this, the 7 will become 5, because that's the maximum without this. So now you got 10 seconds that you can get berserking and increase its damage bonus by 25. So that was the build, very simple. I cannot say more about it. I'm going to show you guys now the gear. The next part is the gear, and I'm going to start with expertise. So I got on my Whirlwind, I got my two-handed sword. I got on my lunging stride 2 one-handed swords, and I got on my leap a mace, a maul. So if you don't know how you need to do it, you just need to push S, and then you just hover over it with your middle mouse wheel. You can assign what you want. So I got at the moment 3 expertise that I use and 1 on the technique. If you don't understand how this works and what I'm saying, I got a video about this too. Just check it out under this video. So I use the two-handed expertise on the technique. The two-handed sword expertise on Whirlwind. So that means that I'm going to apply bleed with this expertise. Then the the one-handed sword 2 times, I put that on my lunging strike. Why? Because the expertise here is this, up to 6% chance to gain 5 fury when hitting a crowd-controlled enemy. So I'm going to crowd-control enemies with slow when they bleed. So if you hit 1 time, they get bleed, and if you hit them again, you will get 10 fury for it. So that's the generator for furry 2. And then I use a two-handed mace on my leap. So you can see it here. What is a two-handed mace doing? Up to 9% chance to gain 2 furry when hitting an enemy. Double the amount of furry gained while berserking. So that's really strong. And I'm not even yet 10. So be sure that you know what this means and what I just said. So that was the expertise. So now let's have a look to the gear. So you guys can see here, I got gear. This ring is even from level 5. So let's have a look to the helmet. So I didn't look really what I got on the helmet. Most of the time I look for life, I look for other stuff, but it does not really matter that much. So on this one I got this aspect. Damaging an enemy with a core skill has up to 40% chance to extend the duration of berserking by 1 second. This one is very important. I told you guys it, berserking is the blueprint of this. With this, if you keep turning around, you will extend the berserking buff. Very important. Then the next one is my chest. So gain 4% damage reduction for each nearby bleeding enemy, up to 20. So that's the maximum. Once again, very good, because everything is bleeding around us, because we are attacking with the two-handed sword expertise. Then the gloves. Each time a core skill deals direct damage to an enemy, your next charge or leap deals 15% increased damage. So you can see each time that you turn around and then you jump, you get more damage on leap. Very simple. Then my pants, that's a good one too. By the way, I found all this stuff. I think I imprinted 1 or 2 things, but they are all from the dungeon, so you can farm them. Just salvage 1 legendary and then you can imprint it. If you don't understand how you need to do it, you need to watch a video how you need to imprint. So the pants leap creates an earthquake that deals 810 physical damage over 4 seconds. While standing in earthquake, you gain 14% increased damage reduction. So that's really good. So you can just do damage and then just stand in. It's not always easy because you need to turn around the entire time, but that's something that saved my ass a couple of times on Lilith. Then the boots. Always try to get evade grants 30% movement speed. That's really good. And then here, this aspect, critical strike grants 14% movement speed for 1 second, up to 6%. Yeah, so if you get a crit, really good. And then the amulet. Skills deal up to 29% increased damage based on your available primary resources when cast, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resources. So a primary resource, what is that? Once again, I think here it's furry, if I'm not mistaken. Then the rings, and this is important aspects here. Whenever you cast a shout skill, its cooldown is reduced by 1.1 seconds. Per nearby enemy. Very important, you can get it in the dungeon. You guys can see this is a level 18 ring, by the way. And then the next one is important too. Your shout skills generate 3 furry per second while active. That's very good. You can get them in the dungeon. If you don't know how you need to do it, the dungeon, just push Y. Oh no, this is not Y. This is Y. You go to the codex, you go to your class. And the funny part is, you can just right click on it. So if you want to get one of the aspects that I just showed you guys, just right click on it here. And you get like a nice, yeah, it does not want to work of course in the video. Let's try it again. Yeah, I need to do the left. So now I pinned it and you got the line right away to the dungeon that you need to have. So that's very easy. That's how you need to do it. The weapons. So I'm using a two-handed maul. Here I got the Whirlwind critical strike chain increased by 6%. For each second it's channeled up to 18%. Be sure that you put it on a two-handed weapon, this one, because that's double. And put green gems in it. You guys can see it. Critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies. It's all green ones, the emerald ones. Then the 2 swords. Each point of furry you generate while at maximum furry grants your next core skill 2% increased damage up to 30%. And then this one is a sword too. After generating 100 furry, your next core skill creates a dust devil that deals 230 damage. And then the last one is your two-handed sword. Whirlwind leaves behind dust devils that deal damage to surrounding enemies. So, because this is a casual build, and I know it's not that easy if you start leveling, but what is important in this game? In this game, the aspects are important, so do right from the start obols, go gamble, and the damage on your weapon. That's the most important. So if you need to choose at the start, just check how much damage per second this weapon is doing. What is good on the weapons? Boosting of your core skill is very good. The critical strike damage, vulnerable damage is very good. Because all the other things don't matter that much. You can just do defensive. You can put defensive things up with your shouts. But I see a lot of people in trouble. They always say, I don't do a lot of damage. And I just told you guys how that comes. So that are the things that you need to look for. So now to end the video, we are going to do some gameplay. The last part is the gameplay. So I'm now here at the moment. So let's have a look on the map. the cultist refugee, it's one that I like to do because you got like 5 to 7 elites the entire time. Here you start and here you can do that. So yeah, let's have a look. So what you need to do is you always need to do like combos. So leap and Warcry you'd never use. You try to prevent that because they are going to generate berserking. And leap is going to do the reduction 2 with the aspect. So what I do is I use this and then this. Generate fury, and this is going to do more damage. Then if I see that I'm in trouble with fury or that I need to get some reduction, I use this. Then if this is of cooldown, the berserking, I use this. You guys will see it because it plays really well. I always go in with Lunging Strike to build up a little bit the fury. So you guys will see it here. So let's have a look. So you see now the fury going up. But most of the time I do this. And then I start turning around. And they are already dead. Here we go. Now I'm going to jump in the pack. There is a shrine. Most of the time there is a shrine over here. And you see now here, this is the earthquake. So you don't need to do a lot. The earthquake is going to kill stuff. And that makes it very good. And is going to protect you. Okay, is this... Ah, it's a normal one. Yeah, thank you. I missed a couple of guys over there. I'm going to play now a little bit faster. Oh, elite. 2 of them. Therefore, I like this map a lot. Oh, here is a chest. You need to open it. Sometimes you get like an elite from chest. And this dude does not want to die, it seems. Yeah, here are the elites. Here is the end boss. Yeah, not the end boss, but this dude is going to give the key. This is an elite too. Yeah, I jumped out of my earthquake, asshole. Okay, that was it, guys. So that was the build. The casual dead build. So thanks for watching, guys. Have fun. Bye bye.